Greetings, this is the man who pretends to be Charles Darwin, and we're taking a close-up look at the winged sumac. And that is a kind of bush that grows in a lot of places, including near Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm making this video. Now, why would it be called the winged sumac? Well, you can see the little, along the middle of the leaf, this is a compound leaf, so along the midrib of the leaf, there's a little bit of photosynthetic surface. It looks like wings along the middle stem. That's why it's called the winged sumac. Well, why would it have those wings? This is an example of an evolutionary just so story we could make up saying, well, this provides it with some extra area for photosynthesis to make more food. Why then does a very closely related species, the smooth sumac, not have that area of photosynthetic surface along the middle of the leaf? Well, it's hard to know what the answer might be to that question. Another thing that you will notice, this winged sumac is not yet blooming, whereas this smooth sumac already has its flowers out. So why would that be? Now, this turns out to be a question that is a little bit easier to answer, or at least it seems like it, because by these two species flowering at different times, if they share the same pollinators, which tend to be small bees, if they share the same pollinators, then the pollinators are going to come first to this species, and then maybe a week or two later, when this species is finished flowering, this one will have flowers on it, and the pollinators will be able to come to it, and then you will not have any mixing of the two species together by pollinators carrying pollen from one species to the other. In particular, you do not have mixture of pollen because the pollinators would not carry the pollen from the smooth sumac to the winged sumac, and thus mix the species together. However, that brings up the question, why would that matter? What advantage is there for these two species to remain separate? Why couldn't they blend together? And that would be a much harder question to answer in evolutionary science. So I don't have the answer to that, and perhaps somebody does, or perhaps nobody does, and the question may be discovered later. Now, one way to tell for sure would be to do some genetic engineering on these two species and cause this one to lose its wings or this one to gain wings along the leaf midrib, and then compare their growth. Of course, then we wouldn't know for sure, was the result due to the treatment of genetic engineering, or was it actually due to the presence or absence of the photosynthetic tissue along the midvein of the leaf. Everywhere you look, there are unanswered questions, perhaps unanswerable questions in evolutionary science. And this is Charles Darwin, tally-ho and amen.